Hello! We have two stories of delicious, sticking it to the man, malicious compliance today. But our first starts with a man turned amateur sleuth when he gets a water bill that's fishier than a seafood market. As always, your support helps fight the Reddit bot menace. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. We start with story 1. Don't make your tenants do your job for you. It can and will backfire on you. Hello! I love the idea of malicious compliance, but up until recently, I never thought I'd have a good story to tell. After the last few weeks my friends and I have had, y'all might want to buckle up and grab a snack before reading through this. Some important backstory. I, 27-year-old female, live in an apartment complex that has recently, as of June of 2023, been bought by a new management company. My best friends, Cole, 30-year-old male, and Phoebe, 29-year-old female, also live in the complex, on the other side. Over the course of the new management's reign, they disabled the resident and rent payment portals we were all using and swapped us over to new portals. I don't know what exactly happened, but it took over a month to get the new portals working, which was a nightmare. But I digress. On August 2nd, I went to pay my rent through the new payment portal. As I always do, I checked the breakdown of what my utilities were. Usually this is water, trash, sewer, CAM fees, and the tech package the complex includes, since we're charged based on usage. I've been in the apartment I'm in now since September of 2022, and prior to this, I lived in the complex in 2 other units for a combined time of around 3 years. Needless to say, I'm very familiar with what my utilities should look like in this complex, specifically the water bill. Much to my surprise and confusion, my water bill was $91. Usually, it's around $30 to $40. I understand increases happen, but usually I see them towards the beginning of the year. And it's never this much of an increase. Immediately, I emailed the front office to kindly ask what the fork was going on. The front office's assistant manager told me that it was the water district that made the increase and that the complex had nothing to do with it, and they weren't able to do anything about it. It was a very don't shoot the messenger type response. This didn't sit right with me, so I called my friends who live on the other side of the complex to see if they'd seen a similar increase. After they checked their bill breakdown, they let me know that their water bill was double what it usually was at $120. They also reached out to the office and were told the same thing. Cole pressed further, asking if the front office was going to further investigate this, since it seemed odd for a billing increase to happen in the middle of the year, let alone this much of an increase. The front office told him he could research it, but that it wasn't their job, even though it literally is. Cue malicious compliance. Cole is a very thorough person. He's a data analyst. Asking and answering all the questions is what he does, and let me tell you, he's very good at it. Cole reached out to the water district and the water authority in our region multiple times via phone, email, and live chat, and every single time he was given the same answer. We would never raise water rates in the middle of the year, and it would never be by that much. Your complex is lying to you. Something isn't right. They need to investigate this further. He took all this information and compiled an email to send to the front office management. He went as far as to cite the meeting minutes from the Water Authority in regards to their plan when it comes to water price increases over the course of the next few years. Cole also included some other concerns we've all had in regards to the complex, such as gym and pool access, as well as the constantly broken access gates. Quoting email. During my correspondence with the Water District, I was informed by an employee by the name of Lisa that our rates increased in January this year. We do not raise them in the middle of the year. Given all the information above, I hope it becomes clear my concern as to the recent increase in our water rates. Cole created graphs and data sheets to completely back up his findings. This data was prepared using the ledger provided to me by the front office and can be replicated by your team for validation. Ultimately, my concern at this point is I am hearing conflicting information from the complex as opposed to the water district and its certified documents, which I've attached for the office's convenience. On 2 occasions, I have almost been struck by vehicles entering the exit gate. I believe the reason behind this is that no deterrents are set up to stop people entering through the exit gate. Inspection of the area shows that spikes were originally installed, but those spikes do not appear to be in place at this moment. This contradicts signage within the property that says that there is. My spouse, attached, had come to the front office about access to the gym amenity. I am unaware of whom Phoebe had spoken to, but they had stated that they would need to set up the appropriate account to get us to access via a form of wireless locking mechanism. They had also mentioned that we would see this email in 1 to 2 days. It has been roughly 3 weeks. He sent off this email, BCC'd me on it, and we waited. And we waited. Eventually, Cole went back into the front office for some kind of update. One of the front office workers informed him that he might be able to call our utilities company UB West for further clarification of what was going on. So he did that. And UB West confirmed that as of mid-July, they no longer have a contract with our complex. The plot thickens. Cole reached back out to the front office and was told that our new utilities contract is with a company called Conservice. So we called them. Conservice told us that they only started their contract with our complex on August 1st, 2023, and they had no backdated information about any of our billing. So we called UB West back to see if we could get our hands on backdated information. This is where things start to feel really, really fishy. UB West escalated our contact up to the financial manager of the contract our complex had with them, and she had some very interesting information. She told Cole and I that she noticed the increase in the water bill, and that she told the leasing office manager, she name-dropped the office manager, that something was wrong, and that legally she needed to start an investigation, and she never heard back. Not long after this, their contract was terminated. At this point, we were both feeling like real-life detectives. We looked into how the water bill is calculated and issued out to residents for the entire complex. The more we looked into things, the less things made sense with what the front office was telling us. The conflicting information was jarring. At this point, the front office seemed to be getting very annoyed with our persistence, and they told us that we should take our concerns up with corporate. So we did. Cole reached out to corporate and forwarded all of the information we had to them, along with the answers he'd gotten from the last time he'd gone into the front office to try to get some answers. Quoting email, "Sorry, I'm new and trying to figure this out," when asked about the water bill. "We don't have access to this anymore," when asked about my financial reconciliation concerns showing I've overpaid the property approximately $2,000. "We have a button that calls the police and our attorney on speed dial," when I asked about a reason as to why an update wasn't yet available. "Have you considered that your car being stolen was a test from God?" when my car was stolen from within the property. "We are working on security improvements, but corporate," whenever I ask about the gate, people hopping the gate when a tenant was shot and killed on premise. Corporate reached back out to him within 24 hours and said that they would be investigating this, and the district manager called Cole personally after she was able to look into everything, and I mean everything. Unfortunately, I wasn't on that phone call, so I don't know exactly how it went. Cole called me the moment the call ended to update me on the situation. The district manager started the conversation with a genuine apology, and she stated that the entirety of the leasing office staff had been terminated immediately. She apologized profusely about the manager having the audacity to suggest that Phoebe's car being stolen was a test from God, and that was simply unacceptable. She also assured Cole that an appointment was made to fix the gates and have the exit spikes reinstalled within the week. Also, that everything else would be personally investigated by her, including the water bills for all tenants in the complex. She also stated that she had no idea that someone had been shot or that Phoebe's car was stolen, both of which should have been reported to corporate immediately and were not by the leasing office manager. Starting in a few weeks, we should be getting a whole new front office staff sent in directly from corporate. In the comments, Asbury Mike said, "This post is just cold-blooded." Good one. Someone asked, "How many communications outreaches were done by you, Cole?" OP replied, "This is a great question that I had Phoebe ask me about too. After the comments about God in the workplace and the high variance water bill, I got to work within 24 hours. During my time frame from start to end, getting the phone call about the firing, I had contacted the water district 21 times, 18 times via phone, 3 times via chat, city commission 5 times via phone, apartment complex 17 times, 5 times via in-person visits, 12 times via phone, apartment corporate office 5 times, 3 times via phone, 2 times via email, third-party billers 7 times, 2 times via email, 5 times via phone." Growen Wolf said, "As a general rule, if you were committing a fraud, then you should not put the people who spot it in contact with the people who can stop it." Canadian Jedi Council replied, "It seems when they said, 'tell it to corporate,' they really meant it as, 'go F yourself,' never believing anyone would dare to actually contact corporate." OP added, "Right, the old manager was trying to be a villain and she wasn't even good at it." I wonder how much that manager pocketed. Almost $2,000 a person across how many units? 2 takeaways here are, know who you're stealing from, more specifically don't steal from competent, intelligent people, and don't steal so much at once that you get on anyone's radar. What a rookie. Our second story might as well double as Tales from Tech Support when a one-man IT department takes his job description a little too serious. In story 2, I see your malicious compliance on me, so I will do one of my own on you. A while ago, I was in charge of training for a large organization. I mostly did the organizing. For a fictitious example, I might coordinate the Dean of Medicine at Yale to come in and give a speech to 200 employees. Our usual location was a large auditorium/classroom, complete with podium and computer. The aforementioned dean might show up with a PowerPoint that he needed to run, etc. So I had my 2 main admin assistants show up at 7:45 a.m. each morning, just to make sure whatever the room was running for whatever speaker or lecturer was there, as the usual start time was 8 a.m. Sometimes, as was bound to happen, computer issues arose. Not too often, maybe once or twice a month, tops. Maybe the dean couldn't pull up his PowerPoint. So we'd call our IT guy, Gary, who was 2 offices away, and he'd come and fix the problem. Everyone was happy until Gary retired. His new replacement, Todd, didn't like the arrangement. Though his start time was 8 a.m., he'd often drift in at 8:10 or 8:15. This is not good when we're having a computer crisis at 8:02. Further, he hated walking into the office and immediately having a call waiting for him. He wanted to have his coffee, read his email, and ease his way into the workday. Can't blame him there. So Todd decided that he would no longer attend our computer calls. He told me to have my admin assistants troubleshoot the problems, since they were there anyways. He was pretty hardcore about this until I pulled out the job description of my assistants, and nowhere did it say that computer repair fell under their workload. I then showed him his job description, where it said that computer repair was. Enter malicious compliance on Todd's part. You want me to attend? Okay, then we do it by the books. No more calling me directly. You need to call the central helpline and have them open a user ticket. Then I'll attend. I pointed out the foolishness of this. It's 7:54. I have the Yale Dean of Medicine and he can't work his PowerPoint. I need it fixed now. I can't spend 15 minutes waiting on hold for the next available help desk agent. And then 15 minutes explaining the problem to them, then have them open a ticket and send it to Todd, then another 20 minutes before Todd opens and responds to the ticket. We can't have 200 people sitting there for 45 minutes waiting on Todd. Too bad, he said with a smirk. Those are the rules. Or you could just have your admin ladies fix the problem. I tried one last ditch effort to reason. When the CEO is going to give a speech and the computer shorts out, he doesn't have to wait 45 minutes. So obviously you can make exceptions. Common sense says this should be one too. Nope, Todd said. The CEO's staff do what's called a preemptive ticket. They submit it ahead of time and have me there on standby in case things do go wrong. So yes, even he has to do the ticket process. Okay, Todd, I see your malicious compliance and raise you one of my own. The next morning, I sat with coffee in hand and waited, smiling in anticipation. Sure enough, my door burst open with a furious Todd. What the fork is this? He snarled, waving a printout. I had submitted preemptive tickets for every day for the next 3 months, requiring Todd to be at my training room at 7:45 every day, just in case there was a computer emergency. Even better, I had contacted his boss's boss and received authorization to change Todd's work schedule due to operational requirements. So he would now be required to work 7 to 3 instead of 8 to 4. Or you could just pick up the phone when I call and come over. We agreed that the ticket process would not be necessary and he would show up as needed. In the comments, CPU Pet said, tells you to use the ticketing system, also tells you how to use ticketing system to combat his request of using ticketing system. Don't you just love it when the boss reveals their glaring weak spot? Boycott China replied, it's like watching a Bond villain describe to James exactly how James can escape. NOC Nurse said, those who live by the ticket shall die by the ticket. Burger King PR team replied, paper cuts suck. I Try Combs added, paper cuts both ways. I get it. I kinda like it, but oh goodness, it seems like a real gamble poking the IT bear. I myself would never do such a thing. It's a one-way ticket to up the creek with no paddle, let me tell you. I mean, from Todd's perspective, tickets keep Mangleman aware of how many directions he's pulled in, and show how things would utterly collapse without his support. Sounds like the managers didn't really understand the real requirements of the job. You know, simple things like start time before actually recruiting Todd. How shocking. And that's it for today. Until next time, shine bright, Starlight. If you've enjoyed the story and would like to hear more, consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment. Thanks, and bye for now.